Hi, I'm Steve.
And I'm Alan.
And we're the creators of Vermilion Edge.
Yeah, and I bet you've always wondered, who are all the characters in our book?
Yeah, so
now's your chance.
let's go through them one by one, I reckon.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. So sit back and enjoy.
So Alan,
Yeah.
talk to me about the leader of the team.
The leader of the team, you must be referring to Red. Why do people follow him? Well, it probably comes from his history. He was the commander, well, was a commander, I should say, in the military for several years. He made his way up through the infantry to captain to commander, where he was, managing fleets of ships. He's obviously got a strong background in, leading troops and telling them where to go and planning things out and making sure everything's done.
When he was in the military?
Yes, I did
left?
say when. That is past tense. Because, yes, he left the military due to certain events that took place that didn't quite sit well with him. So he decided, no, the military's not for me. I want to make my own decisions, my own choices. And so left the military and started his own mercenary crew.
Okay. Tell me about his fighting style. Like, is he a rifleman? Is he... what's he...
And that's a great question, because he's actually quite different to most... soldiers, in that most soldiers would prefer, an assault rifle. They're pretty effective at range and close range. But he grew up with close range combat, so he is actually wielding a sword. But it's a sword that it's a strange sword. It's futuristic. We're living in the future, so it can change shape and size. It can be a one-handed weapon where you can wield it with a shield. And we have a plasma shield in the future, so It's got some extra effects and bouncing, special types of attacks and things like that. But he can also extend it so it's as large as a claymore, and he could really do some two-handed attacks and things. But yeah, he's very much up close and personal kind of attacking, which works well with the enemies that we're facing today. So
cool. And his temperament, like how is he in day-to-day life?
Well, he's changed a lot, and how he is now. He's a lot more calm and really reserved and, probably a little bit too careful when it comes to...
risk averse.
Yeah, risk averse. When it comes to missions and things like that, he's always trying to find the safest option, not necessarily the quickest and most effective option. It's more which path would take it where I would less likely cause any injury to anybody.
Okay.
That's his current mentality.
So he was different.
Yeah, in the past, he was much like June. Which is probably why they got along very, very well early on. In the past, he was very much get the job done, follow orders. Certain situation came across, it's like let's get this done quickly, so we can get home and move on, get to the next mission. But that's very much changed in the current time.
I suppose the final question I've got then is: do we ever see that transition back to that rash red? Will we ever see it again?
That's a great question. To me, it's doubtful that I'd ever see him get back to that. I mean, a strange situation would have to take place for him to.
Must have been a pretty big event that would have shifted him so.
Yeah, well, we can't talk about that right now. So, tell me about Pulse.
She's essentially the medic of the group, almost the heart of the group. She'll keep them running. They go into bad situations. They'll be on the field, getting their injuries. She sometimes will join them, but not always.
So she's just staying on the ship the whole time?
Sometimes.
Sounds quite an interesting thing.
There will be times where she does leave the ship, normally when they believe it is safe enough for her to do so. She can defend herself.
When would it be safe to get out of the ship?
Sometimes they're just doing a simple rescue or a investigatory mission. There are missions where they don't necessarily always have conflict to actually engage with, or they do need to get live specimens.
Or it's an emergency situation where there's no choice.
But her actual name, Pulse code name, her actual name is Cass Irolith. That isn't her family name. She changed that, wanting to distancing herself from her family. And she has a brother on the crew as well, the mechanic, the engineer, the tech genius, Hex. She joined the crew, bit of a connection there with Red. She has a lot in regards to the potentiality of where the story can go, what the team discovers at the end of the first issue. She has a deeper connection to some of the things the crew eventually discovers. So she starts becoming much more of an important player as the story goes on.
Right. And what is she like as a person, other than just a role?
She's opinionated. It doesn't come across too much. Again, she's not a major player in the first, but she does have her kind of viewpoint on how the world should be. She has a viewpoint on certain characters' actions and how they choose to go about their daily life. She's strong-willed, very protective of her younger brother.
Would she kill to protect her younger brother?
Her motto is life is essentially sacred and it is not worth justification for anyone. I've got a question for you regarding June. I actually want you to tell me everything about it.
She's the second in command. She's really the kind of rough and tumble, get into the action first kind of character. Doesn't really think too much about the consequences. I mean, she's smart. Okay. She was part of the military and obviously learned a lot of discipline and structure from that. But she still just wants to get things done. She's not really one to sit on her hands, plan everything out rigorously. If there's a target that needs to be rescued or somewhere they need to go, she's just going to try and find the quickest path there and get it done. That's her main
Does that kind of lead her into any trouble?
It has. That's why we have Red. It kind of balances her out pretty well in this team because he's the very conservative, slow it down kind of thing.
Bring that rash perspective.
Yeah, they do come, and there's a bit of conflict because of that. And Red didn't used to be like that, so...
I love the fact you're bringing up Red more than I am.
I am bringing Red up. But I have to, because it makes sense, Steve.
Kind of.
So she's has to kind of learn a new way of, tackling problems.
And I'm guessing she used some kind of shotgun, we can just go in there.
No shotguns. She has a unique weapon, actually, or weapons, I should say. She has 2 revolvers that behave differently. So when they are, in their standard form, they're just firing regular bullets, but she can smack them together and they will power up. And they've got some technology inside them. One will turn their bullets to what we call arc or electricity technology, and we've got another one that will turn it into a what we call cryo or frozen bullet. So she can zap things and freeze things with her 2 guns.
Do we get to see that in action?
You may get to see that in the first book.
Perfect.
I'd like you to tell me about Tank.
He's very simplistic in a way. His character hasn't got much of a background or, any kind of complexity to it, but because of that, it actually is it's so easy to get into it. So he is basically born in a mining colony. He was born on a space station that would basically travel from planet to planet when mining work was required.
Is that a mining colony in the Milky Way?
No, this is actually in Horizon.
Oh, right.
So
gotcha.
He was born, I believe his most recent job was on Firaxis, I believe from memory.
In Gemini Sol.
In Gemini Sol. So he was born to a family of miners, very much on a diet of just full protein and just everything needed to do a mining job as well as
bulk
possible.
up, I suppose.
There's a reason he's bulk, the strong man of the group.
As explained why he's palish in complexion.
He has not seen
ashen.
sun too much, being under the earth a lot. Basically, he's just left him, and in space, on a space station, for every time he's not on planet, he's gotten almost 0 sunlight. If he were to take a blood test, his vitamin D would be quite low, let's just say that. But his nutritional diet keeps him maintained well enough. He's just that big, strong character.
Contrary to the name Tank, he's not actually a tank.
Now, one thing I love about when we're developing him, because of his kind of naivety towards the world, he's really not familiar with most concepts of just normal living. He's timid in character almost. When he's in dialogue with other characters or anyone else in the world, he is shy at times. He is blurting out things that really aren't appropriate or aren't accurate, but just because he just doesn't know any better. So it's almost like a childish kind of innocence to him, in a way, which just wanted to be counteractive to the brute that you see on the page when you're actually seeing these words come out of his mouth. So no, very much not in any way what he looks like is how he actually behaves.
Yeah, and he's not like this bold, brave bravado that will charge in with weapons and then save the day.
He does know explosives. Again, part of his mining background, he obviously was using explosives a lot to actually dislodge ore and minerals. He knows weak points of structures, of even natural formations. He loves applying that to the field. And he basically, it's like a sense of pride that he brings to the team that really no other member brings, that demolition type role. So you'll see him with the big weapons. He's the one that can carry the big boys. He has an exosuit that actually helps equip this stuff, but I mean, he's probably self-sufficient to do this in his own. So you'll see him with the big assault rifle, the big cryo cannon as well. Looking forward to actually seeing these on pages. But no, he loves a good explosion.
Who doesn't, Steve? Who doesn't love a good explosion?
Hopefully not everybody. Tell me about Raven.
When I initially planned for Raven, she was going to be this soft-spoken, quiet girl.
Yeah, okay, I know where this is going.
And she was, you know where it's going.
Yeah, I know where it's going.
Yeah, she was always going to be a sniper. She was always going to have that technique, the silent, deadly assassin, long range, kill, but can do slow like a ninja, get up close and attack, stuff like that. But she was always going to be this super silent person who didn't speak much. And even when she was on the ship, she kind of kept to herself. She would just silently watch people
So the question
and observe.
is, when did that change?
That changed pretty much the second we started writing the book. So, for some reason, her character just evolved. And as we're writing dialogue and the characters were interacting with each other, I'm just like, no, Raven's going to say a snarky comment here instead, or she's going to say this really edgy phrase.
So if you could describe Raven in one word, what would that be?
Sassy.
Perfect.
Yeah, she's become sassy. But my idea of her character kind of evolved. So she still has that silent aspect to her because in the battlefield, she's still silent. She has to be silent because she doesn't want to be seen. So the idea that I have behind her now is that she's vocal in public situations and people get used to her at this loud volume that when she's silent, they don't even realize she's there because she's so different when she switches to battle mode.
She's got the opportunity to be silent within the team as well if she chose.
I'd imagine so, but I feel that the way this story has kind of come about and the issues that the crew have faced have brought her to be this more combative and challenging person because she's not agreeing with the decisions that are being made at the time.
I love the tough question for last. Who is she romantically attracted to?
We're shipping characters already.
You may be. I'm asking a question.
I'm not going to put any official stance on where she may or may not be inclined.
I can't support that at all.
To be interested in. You might have do you have an idea of who my second favourite character is attached to, Steve?
She's like my third favourite character overall, to be honest. I'll get back to another one. Honestly though, as you're writing it, you do get these kind of ideas of where they could lean. And there is one character I've got in mind that she could, become attached to. But I'm not going to say because I don't want to force it. I want to make sure it happens naturally.
But it's in your mind. But you might start writing dialogue that way that twists it and it becomes what you wanted this whole time.
I doubt that. Or at least I refrain from.
Well, like I said, it should all happen organically.
Absolutely.
But we'll see. But right now, I'm happy with where she is. I like her as a little sassy combatant of the team. Not that she doesn't get along with all the team, but she's definitely at conflict with them in this first book. That changes much in the second, slightly. But I'm curious to see how she goes. But she's definitely, you're very strong, combative, silent sniper.
Getting a theme of strength. I like it.
Yeah, and you should have that with her. I'm probably going to ask you about a character. Can you guess which one?
I actually can't.
That's Hex. Please tell me about Hex.
Okay, makes perfect sense. If we're following this on chronologically from the previous recording, we talked about Pulse. But of course, this could be shown in a different order entirely, so you can cut this out. Hex, the tech genius of the crew. What can I tell you about him? He does everything. I remember when we first started writing about Hex, we had problems where he was solving every single problem of the ship, and we're like, he's got way too many lines.
And he's talking a lot. Yeah, he had all the dialogue. Yeah.
So we dialed that back quite a bit, which was I think was needed. But he is like so critical to the crew. He brings essentially the mechanic role, the engineering role. He's got connections to Ceph technology he's been experimenting with his entire life. He basically was raised as a child genius, raised into a family of geniuses, let's say. And he just loves technology. He loves playing with gadgets. He loves doing everything he can to just break things and then put them back together.
Raised as a family of geniuses, does that mean Pulse is also a genius?
She is, in her own way. She actually broke away from what the family was, which was that kind of technological...
Yeah,
she broke away from that into the medical field. But no, Hex has definitely taken that into his own. He's absorbed that from his family. Even to the family of geniuses, he was a step above everyone else. But
why did he join Red's Cube?
I was about to actually say that.
I should say.
So he didn't mean to. It was more just a product of the circumstance. But ultimately, he was always not so much fascinated with, but always looked up to his older sister, Pulse, or Cass at the time. He idolized her, wanted to impress her in every chance he got. I wouldn't say she was like a second mother to him, but more it was just some kind of connection that he made with her very early on. When she decided to leave the family, he made it his goal to join her. Somewhat now a burden to Pulse at that point. She made sure he was protected with her as she went about her own career. But he was always attached to her and following her. He joined the crew as she did. And I don't want to go into that detail because I don't want to spoil too much from any kind of backstory and stuff like that. But again, circumstances happened such that Pulse was looking to aid Red, and Hex was taken along. Red was looking for a mechanic for the ship. He needed someone to maintain it, someone to make sure things go. And the side effect of that was also he gets new weapons out of it. He always experimented with adding new attachments to this and modifying this.
I mean, he tweaked Red's sword, right? So that it did the red glow because the standard electric
Hex wouldn't have it. If your name is Red and you've got a sword, it's Red. There's no other way about it. So yeah, it was like a win-win situation for Red. But he is very integral to the crew. He has his own little floating robot named Proxy because he himself is not military trained. He himself is not in any way a strong enough character to
go out on missions,
absolutely
and go combat facing.
But he does have a robot. And he sends that out to do his scans, to provide his commentary for when he needs to actually say or aid the team. It can do minor tasks as well, or break into things or bypass certain things. But ultimately that's his engagement with the team as they're on the mission. But most of the time he's spent in his workshop tinkering with whatever is in front of him. Got a question for you regarding the youngest member of the crew, specifically...
The youngest?
Yeah, rookie.
Obviously.
I want to know how he joined.
Yeah, it's an interesting story, Rookie, because he kind of joined the crew pretty much in a completely different situation than everybody else. He was going to be part of the military. And the military games is this big event that happens in Horizon where anyone can jump in, anyone who's been training for the military, and they compete, determine who deserves to go into a team.
So he's ex-military?
Well, he didn't actually quite make it. Oh. So he entered the military games and he failed. Now, he didn't fail because he wasn't good. He was a little bit too smart for his own good, you could say. And his leader decided to do the correct thing by the book. And he thought that was, at the time, a stupid decision and decided to go off and do his own thing. Now, in the end, he actually completed his mission, but he did it without the help of his team. And that was just a complete red flag to the military that, we don't want someone who doesn't want to follow orders. We want structure. We have these rules for a reason. So instant disqualification, no matter how good you may be as a soldier. But yeah, Red was watching that. The military games are a live feed across the galaxy because it's very entertaining. It's something that everyone can watch. Mm-hmm. And Red saw potential in Rookie. He doesn't mind the idea of people questioning orders because he questioned orders when he was in the military himself. Okay. So the idea of someone questioning orders was beneficial to him. So he reached out to him and requested that he joined his team. So he has some military training, obviously in preparation for the games. But What does he then bring to the team if he hasn't actually got any field experience? Well, other than youth and a spunky attitude, he brings... he loves to use gadgets and technology and things like that. So he works well with Hex. Hex loves building stuff and he loves using stuff. So he's the user of all the new tech. So you see him with his little eyepiece and can scout around. He's got his little scouting devices that he throws into the earth and he uses all this technology in his wristband, all that kind of stuff. No one else really is like that other than Hex himself. But Hex is not really out on the field. Yep. So he's kind of, the scout. He kind of goes ahead, finds things out, and
must be a pretty confident person to put himself in that danger.
He's a very cocky character, as you can tell. You thought he knew the right thing to do in the military games, despite a superior person telling him otherwise. So why would that change now? So
is there ever a situation in the future where he might do that to one of Red's orders?
Possibly, and I think that's why Red has him there, because obviously Red might say something at the time that seems like the right decision, but he wants people, he doesn't want yes men. He doesn't want someone to just say, yes, this is what you should do. He'd like the idea of someone to question, not blatantly disregarding an order, but if it makes sense, you should call it out. Yes, exactly.
I'm looking forward to seeing that in action if it ever comes to be on
you'll see it. You'll see it for sure.
Perfect, thanks.